Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt like you were on the edge of something greater, yet stuck in the patterns of the past? What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, God is moving in ways you cannot yet see? That the shift you've been waiting for is already in motion? You see, transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens when we align our thoughts, our emotions, and our faith with the divine intelligence that governs all of creation. The same power that formed the universe, that breathed life into you, is orchestrating a change that will elevate you beyond your limitations. God is about to change your life, but are you ready to receive it? Let's dive in. The way you think shapes the way you live. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, creates the foundation of your reality. If you have been waiting for a breakthrough, if you have been praying for God to change your life, you must first recognize that change begins in your mind. You cannot step into a new life while holding on to the same old patterns of thinking. The mind is the gateway to transformation, and shifting your mindset is the first step toward receiving what God has already prepared for you. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you constantly plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, your life will reflect those very things. But if you start planting seeds of faith, gratitude, and expectation, you'll begin to see God's hand moving in ways you never imagined. Too often, people are waiting for external circumstances to change before they believe something new is possible. But God works in the unseen. First, your reality begins to shift the moment your mindset does. Many people live trapped by their past experiences, allowing their history to dictate their future. They hold on to pain, disappointment, and failure, replaying those moments in their minds like a broken record. But the mind does not differentiate between past, present, or future. It simply responds to the dominant emotions and thoughts you feed it. If you keep focusing on what went wrong, your brain will continue to recreate those patterns. If you constantly relive what hurts you, you are reinforcing the very reality you are trying to escape. Science and spirituality both agree on one thing: your thoughts have power. The energy you emit through your thoughts and emotions determines what you attract into your life. When you align your mindset with the truth that God is working for you, not against you, you shift from fear to faith. You shift from doubt to expectancy. You start to see obstacles as opportunities, challenges as stepping stones, and delays as divine preparation. Your brain is wired to seek familiarity. If you have spent years thinking in a certain way, your mind will naturally resist change. This is why so many people pray for a breakthrough but continue living with the same habits, the same beliefs, and the same emotional reaction. You must disrupt the old patterns and intentionally create new ones. You must train your mind to think in alignment with God's promises rather than your past limitations. Imagine waking up every day with the mindset that something extraordinary is about to happen. Imagine carrying the belief that God is aligning the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances for your breakthrough. When you truly adopt this mindset, you start to walk differently, speak differently, and move through life with a sense of purpose. Your faith is no longer just a concept. It becomes a state of being. Most people let their environment dictate their thoughts instead of using their thoughts to shape their environment. They react to life rather than create life. But God did not create you to be a victim of circumstances. He created you to be a co-creator with Him. When you shift your mindset, you stop waiting for miracles and start stepping into them. You start expecting blessings rather than fearing setbacks. You begin to operate from a place of certainty rather than hesitation. The enemy of transformation is comfort. Your mind will try to keep you in familiar territory, even if that territory is filled with struggle, anxiety, or stagnation. But faith requires stepping into the unknown. It requires believing before you see the evidence. God does not respond to doubt. He responds to expectation. He responds to a mind that is open, receptive, and aligned with His vision. Think about the stories of those who have experienced radical transformation. The common factor is not their circumstances. It is their belief. They saw themselves healed before they were healed. They saw themselves victorious before they won. They shifted their mindset before their external reality changed. Faith is not about waiting for evidence. It is about becoming the evidence. Your thoughts create your emotional state, and your emotions dictate your actions. If you think you're stuck, you will feel stuck and you will act accordingly. But if you think breakthrough is near, you will feel empowered and you will take action that aligns with that belief. This is why shifting your mindset is non-negotiable. Well, you cannot create a new future while thinking with the mind of your past. Every time you find yourself doubting, realign your mind with God's truth. Every time fear creeps in, remind yourself that God has already made a way. Every time you feel stuck, recognize that it is only your perception, not your reality. The moment you decide to shift your mindset, you invite God's power to move in your life. Letting go of the past is one of the most powerful yet challenging things a person can do. The human mind is conditioned to hold on to experiences, replaying them over and over, searching for meaning, validation, or even closure. But what many fail to realize is that clinging to the past creates an invisible barrier between where they are and where God wants to take them. The past, whether filled with pain, mistakes, or disappointments, was never meant to be a permanent dwelling place. It was meant to be a lesson, a stepping stone, but not a prison. Many people hold on to past failures, allowing them to define their identity. They replay moments when they fell short, when they made the wrong decision, or when life didn't go as planned. These memories, when given too much attention, begin to shape self-perception. The mind starts to believe that because something went wrong before, it will always go wrong. But God is not bound by the past. He is always creating, always renewing, always moving forward. When He says He is making all things new, that includes you. That includes your story. The same applies to holding on to past pain. Sometimes people carry the weight of betrayal, heartbreak, or loss for years, allowing it to shape how they see themselves in the world. They build walls, not realizing that the walls meant to protect them are actually keeping them trapped. They close themselves off to new possibility because they are afraid of repeating the same hurt. But healing cannot happen while holding on to the pain. God cannot fill hands that are already full. To receive what He has in store, there must be an intentional release of what no longer serves you. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending things never happened. It means surrendering the need to keep reliving them. It means choosing not to let the past dictate the future. It is making peace with what was so that what is to come can unfold. Holding on to what went wrong, what didn't happen, what was lost, or what was taken only drains the energy needed to create something new. When God is about to do something powerful in your life, He requires an empty vessel, free from attachments to what is already gone. The greatest transformations happen when a person releases control. There's a difference between learning from the past and being chained to it. Many convince themselves that they have moved on, yet their thoughts, words, and emotions reveal otherwise. They still carry resentment, still seek validation, still allow old wounds to dictate new opportunities. But there is freedom in letting go. There is power in saying, this no longer has a hold on me. God often allows discomfort as a sign that it is time to release something. When doors close, when relationships end, when paths suddenly shift, it is not a punishment, it is an invitation. An invitation to trust, an invitation to step forward without dragging the weight of what no longer aligns with where God is leading. The discomfort is not meant to break you, but to wake you up. It is a reminder that clinging to the past is delaying what is waiting ahead. Some people struggle with letting go because they fear the unknown. The past, no matter how painful, is familiar. There is a strange comfort in what is known, even if it is not good for the soul. But faith is not about staying in the comfort of familiarity. Faith is stepping into the uncertainty of what God is preparing, knowing that He never removes something without the intention of replacing it with something greater. But the replacement cannot come if the space is still occupied. There are also times when the past holds not only pain, but also success. Some people are so attached to a past achievement that they refuse to move forward. They define themselves by one moment, one season, or one victory, unaware that God is calling them to something even greater. They keep reliving what was instead of embracing what could be. Growth requires movement. It requires letting go of what was to make room for what is next. God does not need permission to transform your life, but He does need your willingness. The mind and heart must be in alignment with the future, not tied to the past. No matter how many prayers are spoken, no matter how much faith is proclaimed, true change cannot happen without release. Holding on to old identities, old habits, and old expectations limits the ability to receive. The moment of breakthrough comes when the hands that were once gripping the past finally open to what God is ready to pour in. Uncertainty is one of the greatest challenges people face. The human mind craves security, predictability, and control. It wants to know what's coming next, how things will unfold, and when the breakthrough will arrive. But God doesn't operate within human limitation. His ways are higher, His timing is different, and His plans often require stepping into the unknown without all the answers. Learning to embrace uncertainty is one of the most powerful shifts a person can make. It is an uncertainty that faith is tested, refined, and strengthened. Many people hesitate when they don't have a clear vision of the future. They wait for confirmation, for guarantees, for absolute certainty before taking a step forward. But faith is not about knowing the outcome. It is about trusting the process. It is about believing that even when things feel uncertain, God is still in control. When people hold back because they don't see the full picture, they delay their own progress. They pray for change but resist the very path that leads to it because it feels unfamiliar, unpredictable, or uncomfortable. God often leads His people into seasons of uncertainty to prepare them for something greater. The discomfort of not knowing is not a sign of failure. It is an invitation to trust on a deeper level. When everything feels secure, there is no need for faith. But when the road ahead is unclear, when circumstances shift, and when the future seems unpredictable, that is when true faith is developed. The greatest transformations do not happen in places of comfort. They happen in the unknown. The mind naturally resists uncertainty. It sees the unknown as a threat and creates fear-based thoughts to keep a person in familiar territory. It whispers doubts, reminding them of past failures, making them question their decisions and tempting them to retreat to what is safe. But God doesn't work through fear. He calls people to step forward, to move even when the destination is unclear, to trust even when the evidence is not yet visible. The moment a person surrenders the need for control, they position themselves for a divine breakthrough. So many people miss out on the life God has for them because they are too afraid to let go of what feels safe. They cling to jobs, relationships, and routines that no longer serve them simply because they fear what might happen if they release them. They settle for less than what they were created for because stepping into the unknown seems too risky. But the unknown is where God does His greatest work. It is in the space of uncertainty that He reveals new opportunities, unexpected blessings, and divine alignments. Every person who has ever experienced a major shift in their life had to step into uncertainty at some point. The doors that open, the miracles that unfold, and the unexpected blessings that appear all happen on the other side of letting go. Trusting God means embracing uncertainty with the confidence that He is already making a way. It means refusing to let fear dictate decisions. It means shifting from a mindset of doubt to a mindset of expectation. Most people wait for conditions to be perfect before taking action. They want clarity before moving forward, yet God often asks for movement before clarity. He asks for faith before proof. He calls people to step into opportunities, relationships, and seasons without a full understanding of how everything will work out. The willingness to embrace uncertainty is the key to unlocking the next level of life. The people who experience true transformation are not those who wait for guarantees, but those who take bold steps even when they don't have all the answers. The unknown is not empty. It is filled with possibility. But the only way to experience those possibilities is by moving forward. The greatest growth, the biggest breakthroughs, and the most powerful moments in life happen when a person stops waiting for certainty and starts trusting God's plan. Fear of the unknown keeps people stagnant, but faith in the unknown propels them forward. Every unanswered question, every closed door, and every uncertain moment is an opportunity to trust at a deeper level. When God is about to do something new, He often disrupts what is familiar. He shakes up routines, removes distractions, and places people in situations where they have no choice but to trust him. The uncertainty is not there to create fear. It's there to build faith. It is there to develop strength, resilience, and a deeper connection to the divine. Embracing uncertainty is not about reckless decisions. It is about surrendering control and allowing God to lead the way. Fear is one of the greatest obstacles standing between a person and the life God has prepared for them. It is a force that paralyzes, keeping people trapped in cycles of doubt, hesitation, and self-sabotage. Fear whispers lies, making challenges appear bigger than they are, convincing people that they are not strong enough, not worthy enough, not capable enough. But fear is nothing more than a distortion of the mind, an illusion that grows only when given attention. The moment a person chooses to stop feeding their fears, they step into the power that God has placed within them. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, but it is not meant to be a master. It is meant to be overcome. Too many people allow fear to dictate their lives. They let it determine what they pursue, who they become, and how far they go. They pray for new opportunities, but reject them the moment fear arises. They ask God for transformation, but resist the very changes required to make it happen. Fear keeps them stuck in the same patterns, replaying the same doubts, repeating the same hesitations, convincing them that stepping forward is too risky. But faith and fear cannot coexist. One must be chosen over the other. God does not place fear within his people. He gives them power, love, and a sound mind. He calls them to walk in faith, to move even when the outcome is uncertain, to trust even when the path is unclear. The greatest breakthroughs happen when fear is confronted and replaced with faith. When fear says, we're not ready, faith says, God has already prepared the way. When fear says, you will fail, faith says, God is working all things together for your good. The choice between fear and faith is what determines the course of a person's life. Most of the things people fear never even happen. The mind creates worst-case scenarios, imagining all the ways something could go wrong. It magnifies the risks while ignoring the rewards. It highlights the pain while dismissing the possibilities. But fear is a liar, convincing people that their struggles are permanent, that their past defines them, that they are incapable of change. The truth is, God has already equipped each person with everything they need to step into their calling. The only thing holding them back is the fear they choose to entertain. Fear manifests in different ways. Sometimes it is loud, showing up as anxiety, doubt, or panic. Other times it is subtle, disguising itself as perfectionism, procrastination, or an endless search for validation. Some people don't realize they are operating in fear because it doesn't always feels like hesitation, like waiting for the right moment, like needing more confirmation. But fear in any form leads to the same result, stagnation. It keeps people from growing, from experiencing the fullness of what God has for them. The only way to break free is to stop feeding. Every time fear is entertained, it grows stronger. Every time a person backs down from an opportunity because they feel unqualified, every time they avoid a challenge because they fear failure, every time they stay silent when they should speak, fear takes deeper root. But the moment a person stops giving in to fear, it loses its power. The moment they say yes, despite the doubt, the moment they take action despite the hesitation, the moment they trust God's plan over their own fear-based thoughts, everything shifts. Fear will always try to find a way in, but it does not have to be given permission to stay. It is a test of faith, an illusion that dissolves the moment a person chooses to walk forward anyway. The people who accomplish great things are not those who never feel fear, but those who refuse to be controlled by it. They recognize fear for what it is, a distraction, and they move forward anyway. They trust that even if they stumble, even if they face challenges, God will sustain them. The enemy uses fear as a weapon because he knows that a person who is free from fear is unstoppable. He knows that when someone fully embraces their faith, when they stop doubting their potential, when they step into their purpose without hesitation, nothing can hold them back. That is why fear attacks the mind. She can control a person's thoughts, can control their actions. But when fear is no longer given authority, when it is no longer allowed to dictate decisions, when it is no longer entertained, that is when transformation happens. Fear is not an indication to stop. It is an indication to trust. It is a sign that something greater is on the other side. Every great victory, every significant breakthrough, every divine shift happens when fear is faced and overcome. The moment a person chooses to stop being controlled by fear, they step into a life of limitless possibilities. Fear loses its power when faith is chosen over hesitation, when courage is chosen over comfort, when trust in God's plan becomes stronger than the doubts created by the mind. Faith is the foundation of transformation. It is the unseen force that moves mountains, shifts realities, and opens doors that once seemed impossible to walk through. Faith is not just believing in God's existence. It is trusting in His plan even when nothing makes sense. It is the ability to stand firm in the face of adversity, knowing that something greater is at work beyond what the eyes can see. Faith does not require physical proof. It requires surrender. It requires stepping into the unknown with confidence, knowing that God has already gone before, preparing the way. Many people struggle with faith because they rely on what they can see, hear, and touch. They want evidence before they believe. They want to know the outcome before they take the first step. But faith is the opposite of certainty. It is walking forward when there is no proof, trusting when there is no visible reason to do so, believing when everything around suggests otherwise. Faith does not wait for conditions to be perfect. It moves boldly despite the imperfections. It does not hesitate when things look difficult. It leans into the difficulty with confidence that God is in control. True faith is tested in the moments when everything seems to be falling apart. It is easy to believe when life is smooth, when prayers are answered quickly, when blessings flow without resistance. But real faith is forged in the fire of uncertainty. It is built when prayers seem unanswered, when obstacles stand tall, when life feels like a series of setbacks rather than victories. These are the moments that define whether faith is genuine or conditional. It is in these moments that a person either retreats in fear or stands firm in trust. God often allows challenges not to weaken faith, but to strengthen it. He stretches people beyond their comfort zones, leading them into situations that require full reliance on Him. It is in these moments that faith grows. When a person faces trials and chooses to trust instead of doubt, they activate something powerful within themselves. They unlock a deeper connection to God, one that is not based on circumstances, but on absolute certainty that He is working all things together for their good. Faith is not passive. It is an active force. It requires movement. Many people claim to have faith but remain stuck in the same patterns because they are waiting for a sign, waiting for confirmation, waiting for circumstances to change before they take action. But faith does not wait. It steps forward. It does not sit in hesitation. It moves. It does not ask for certainty. It embraces the unknown. The people who experience true transformation are not those who wait for all the answers, but those who trust that the answers will come as they move. There is a direct connection between faith and manifestation. Whatever a person deeply believes will eventually become their reality. If they believe in scarcity, they will experience lack. If they believe that they are unworthy, they will attract situations that reinforce that belief. But when they believe that they are walking in divine purpose, that blessings are already on their way, that breakthroughs are unfolding even in the unseen, their reality begins to shift. Faith is the key that unlocks new levels of life. It is the bridge between the invisible, between what is hoped for and what is received. Faith requires letting go of control. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with faith is because they want to control every outcome. They want to dictate the timing, the method, and the details of how things should unfold. But faith requires surrendering that control. It is trusting that even when things do not happen on their timeline, they are still happening exactly as they should. It is releasing the need to manipulate circumstances and instead allowing divine alignment to take its course. The moment a person stops trying to control everything, they create space for miracles to unfold. Doubt is the enemy of faith. It sneaks in through negative thoughts, through fear, through past disappointments. It whispers that things will never change, that prayers will go unanswered, that the situation is too impossible to fix. But doubt only has power when it is entertained. The moment a person stops giving attention to their doubts and starts feeding their faith, their whole perspective shifts. Instead of focusing on what seems impossible, they begin to see the possibilities. Instead of dwelling on what is missing, they focus on what is already in motion. Faith is the ultimate act of trust. It is waking up each day with the confidence that something good is coming, even when there is no evidence of it yet. It is believing that the struggles faced today are simply stepping stones to something great. It is understanding that delays are not denials, but divine setups for something far better than imagined. Faith is what separates those who live in limitation from those who experience the fullness of what God has in store. It is the deciding factor between staying stuck in old patterns or stepping into a life of transformation and abundance. Attitude is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It is not just an emotion, but a state of being, a frequency that aligns a person with abundance, transformation, and divine favor. When a person lives in gratitude, they shift their focus from what is missing to what is already present. They begin to see the beauty in every moment, the lesson in every struggle, and the blessing in every challenge. Gratitude is not about denying reality or pretending that life is perfect. It is about choosing to acknowledge the good even in the midst of difficulty. It is about shifting from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance. Many people wait for their circumstances to change before they feel grateful. They believe that once they have more money, better relationships, or greater success, then they will experience gratitude. But gratitude is not a result of external conditions. It is a choice that must be made regardless of what is happening. It is easy to be grateful when life is going well, but the true test of gratitude is whether a person can remain thankful when things seem to be falling apart. Can they still give thanks when they are in the waiting season? Can they still express appreciation when the answer has not yet arrived? Gratitude is a magnet for miracles. When a person focuses on what they already have, they open themselves up to receive more. The energy of gratitude attracts blessings, opportunities, and favor in ways that logic cannot explain. This is why some people seem to have doors constantly opening for them. They are not waiting for something to make them feel grateful. They are grateful first, and the blessings follow. Gratitude creates momentum. It propels a person forward, removing resistance and aligning them with the flow of divine provision. The human mind is wired to focus on what is wrong, what is missing, and what needs to be fixed. This is a survival mechanism designed to protect against threat, but it also keeps people trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. When a person intentionally shifts their focus to gratitude, they rewire their brain. They begin to see possibilities instead of limitations. They notice the small victories instead of dwelling on failure. Find joy in the ordinary instead of constantly chasing after the next big thing. Gratitude is not about ignoring problems. It is about choosing not to be consumed by them. Every moment presents a choice to complain about what is wrong or to give thanks for what is right. The more a person practices gratitude, the easier it becomes to see the good in every situation. Even in the most challenging circumstances, there is always something to be grateful for. The fact that a person is still breathing, still standing, still capable of growth is a reason for gratitude. The struggles they face are shaping them, strengthening them, preparing them for something greater. Gratitude turns obstacles into stepping stones, pain into purpose, and waiting into preparation. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate gratitude is through daily practice. This can be as simple as starting each morning by acknowledging 3 things to be grateful for. It can be keeping a gratitude journal where small and big blessings are recorded. It can be speaking words of thanks aloud, shifting the energy of a room by expressing appreciation. The key is consistency. Gratitude must become a habit, a way of life, not just something expressed occasionally. The more gratitude is practiced, the more it becomes a natural response to life's ups and downs. Gratitude also strengthens faith. When a person is grateful, they are acknowledging that even when they do not understand everything, they trust that there is a greater plan at work. Gratitude is an act of surrender, a declaration that what is meant to be will be. It is choosing to believe that even in the unknown, there is a reason to give thanks. Gratitude shifts focus from worry to trust, from fear to confidence, from stress to peace. It allows a person to rest in the knowledge that they are exactly where they need to be, and everything is unfolding as it should. There is a direct connection between gratitude and joy. Many people chase happiness believing it is something to be achieved once external conditions are met. But joy is not something to be pursued. It is something to be created. Gratitude is the key to unlocking joy because it allows a person to appreciate the present moment instead of constantly seeking something more. It is impossible to be truly grateful and miserable at the same time. When a person lives in gratitude, they radiate a different energy, one that attracts more of what they desire. Gratitude also transforms relationships. When people express appreciation for those around them, it strengthens connections, deepens love, and fosters understanding. Many relationships suffer not because of a lack of love, but because appreciation is not expressed. Taking the time to acknowledge the kindness, support, and presence of others builds stronger bonds. Gratitude removes entitlement and replaces it with humility. It reminds a person that every moment with a loved one is a gift, that nothing should be taken for granted. The most successful and fulfilled individuals understand the power of gratitude. They do not wait for everything to be perfect before they express thanks. They find reasons to be grateful right where they are. They know that gratitude is the bridge between where they are and where they want to be. They understand that the more they appreciate what they have, the more they will be given. Gratitude is a force that reshapes reality, creating a life of abundance, joy, and divine favor.